Well, I've been down playing with various loads in the Savage. And I've learned some things. Well, I know one thing. These Fred will shoot really high. They shoot like a foot high. But I will shoot those up. I've been playing with 4064 and Varget. And so far, I think Varget kind of looks like it's coming out ahead. A little surprising. Usually on these long barrel rifles, I end up using 4064. But I'll have to load up more and go a little further into it. I have a little trouble. I'm so used to the marbled sights, and these aren't quite to my liking. They're all right, but they aren't what I'm used to. I actually kind of got used to those marbles ones. So I'll see. I don't want to change this unless I have to, but I'll play with the loads a little more. Because with this Federal stuff, I actually end up running the sight, so it really isn't even on the ramp. I mean, the ramp is kind of loose in there, which isn't good because you could lose it. But even then, it shoots a foot high. Now, when I go with the Varget or 4064, I can go up a couple notches. But the one thing I like about the marble sights, I have that little slide adjustment in there that will give me the in-between notches. And that's what I'm kind of missing. At this 100 yards, I'd like to be like a couple inches high would make me happy. About a foot high, it doesn't make me happy. But the gun works good, and I have to say, the one thing, when I was first shooting it, I was having trouble. A couple of them had hung up when I went to lever it. And in the comments, somebody had mentioned about having to thumb them back, and you actually do. When you go to load them, you actually, in fact, it's better to have the gun upright, but there's a point in there where they are kind of forward, but if you just give them a little push, then they go all the way back where they're supposed to be, and that's something that guys just got to remember. Then it hasn't given any problems since then. Because when I checked the spec on the overall length, I thought the Federal might be a little long, and they weren't. They were in spec. I was suspicious because, like, these are the Federal here, and the crimp groove is showing completely above the case mouth. So it doesn't really pay to crimp these. But now the Hornady brass I got when I've been loading that, I can get it to the spec and have the crimp groove where it's supposed to be and be able to crimp them. Not necessary to crimp them in this really, but it kind of leads to consistency. So I have been crimping them. Trying to get used to that safety too. But I think, Varget is coming up ahead, powder-wise. These are 150 grain, well, all of them are. So, like I say, I'll play a little more. But I don't know how much video I'll do on it. Well, some, but it's kind of a waste of time. So, in the monetizing, I noticed, somebody had said, well, it's affecting every channel. Well, it's really gun channels that are what really get kicked in the ass with it. But, it's not a big deal. But I know, I think the first video I did on this has been up like 12 days. And it's got quite a few views, and I know a lot of comments. Because they're a very interesting gun. But, money-wise, that's a horrible losing proposition. I think in those 12 days it's made 15 cents. That's just the way it works with these gun channels. You're just going to really take her in the shorts every time. You can't expect to make money on the videos. You have to do it just for the enjoyment of doing it, because I can do almost any other video you're going to make something on, but if you do firearms related videos, you can kind of forget about making anything on them. Like I said, it's not important to me, but it just seems such a foolish thing, because to a lot of channels it is very important. That's, because my channel is pretty diverse, but there's a lot of channels that are pretty much strictly firearms. Well, you can forget making money on them, if that's important to you. Oh, and one thing I did forget to mention the other time, these do have this weird little cocking indicator. There's a little nub that comes up when they're cocked, which, I guess is all right. It seems a little unnecessary, but it's there. I do like the gun, though, partly because, a lot of times your deer rifles, what people are using now, are really developed from military weapons, and that's two whole different things. This thing was really made from the ground up to be a hunting rifle. So you can kind of tell that aspect of it. Very nice rifle. I really do appreciate the workmanship that went into it. Just really different, but likeable enough gun. But I know these are going about a foot high. I can kind of tell where the sand is flying up. And like I said before, these Federals, they do flatten that primer and push it back compared to what I've been loading with the other powders. But I can certainly see hunt with this. In fact, it's the kind of thing like if I see somebody using a Swiss Army knife, I think a little higher of them. I think, there's somebody who understands the value. And it's kind of the same, if I see somebody who's hunting with one of these, that to me is a hunter. My opinion of the person is going to change. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. This is a hunter's rifle. Very likable gun. But like I said, I'll play some more with it. I'll have to go check these, but I just know they're outrageously high. But I got a pile of targets. Because when I was first shooting, it was so darn high with the Federal stuff, so then I went down. Well, then some of them were below the target. Well, like this is 4064. I brought it up some, but I think I can bring the power up on the 4064. The case isn't full. What I do like about the 4064 over the Varget, 4064 gets the case up about here. You're looking at like 90% where you want to be. Where Varget, she's down quite a ways. But Varget has seemed to be the most accurate, but I think I can jump the Varget up a little, too. Both of them, I think. And then I'll see. The design of this sight really looks like a marble sight, but it doesn't have the insert part. And I like that, being able to adjust between two. But it holds a pretty good level. And I think it's part of my problem is I'm used to marble sights. And so my picture's a little bit different with this. But very likable gun. And I will be doing more playing with that. Though I don't know how much video I'll do. I want to take it out and do some like 200, 250 out in the big pasture, and that's where you can really tell where what effect things are having on it. Not normally a range I'd hunt yet. To hunt pretty much 100, 150. It would get pretty wild to go 200 or 300. Just not necessary. It's hard to find an open spot that far.